The Smarter Way Forward with AI, a sustainable and cost-effective AI path with McGallen and Bolden. A quick tour of available offline and RAG systems that allow business leaders and departments to research, collaborate, create, curate, and develop with reasonable budgets that work for large enterprises going through turbulent waters. We're going to talk about something that everyone is thinking about today, AI, but we're not just going to talk about the news and the buzz. We're going to talk about a better way to move forward that will be good for your business in the long run and won't cost too much. The main point of our talk today is simple. How do you get past the buzzwords and the big spending to use AI in a way that really helps your business? It's about getting AI to work for you, not the other way around. How is AI developed? And I want to start our conversation with a powerful quote from Professor Geoffrey Hinton, who is often called the godfather of AI and has won both the Turing Prize and the Nobel Prize in physics. He says, "There's no way that the brain works by someone programming in rules." This straightforward statement is central to our discussion. Engineers had to hard code every single instruction into traditional AI, which we might call a rule-based system. But the future of AI, the kind of AI that will really change the world, isn't about writing rules. It's about teaching models to learn and change, just like the brain does. This is the big change we are going through, and it's important to understand it as we move forward, facing the AI onslaught. So, what are we going to talk about today? We'll divide the world of AI into three main parts. First, let's talk about the pitch, which is the lie that the industry is selling. This is the story of big tech, huge investments in AI, and the promise of a revolution. Second, we'll look at what's really going on. This includes the scary stories, the security risks, the hallucinations, and the chance of an AI bubble. Finally, we'll talk about a better way forward. This is where we explain our idea of a long-term and cost-effective AI strategy and how you can use it in your business. We'll also talk about how to get by in this new age, which we're calling Web 4.0, where AI-powered answer engines are changing how people look for information. What is the world selling? What do we see when we look at AI today? We hear a lot of talk, a lot of pushing, and a lot of big promises. It's a place where people peddle and push. We hear about a global AI arms race, billion-dollar investments, and new AI models being released every other day all the time. The story goes that you need to use AI right away or you'll be left behind. Everyone is trying to convince you that their model is the fastest and most powerful. But we need to ask ourselves, is this story good for us, or is it just making people spend a lot of money? The global push to use AI, the media seems to be inundated with headlines and copy about governments and vendors touting AI as the messiah. China and the United States are the two biggest players in this area because they have huge tech ecosystems. There is a race for both business and politics. In Southeast Asia, there are projects like Sea Lion that aim to create an AI model that is aware of and respects the cultures and languages of our area. This is a great example of a more focused regional approach. But the big names you see here, Google, Apple, Microsoft, OpenAI, and a few others, are the ones that really matter in the world. They are all trying to get more customers by convincing every business that their AI solution is the best one. What people usually spend on AI. And how much does this pitch cost? AI could cost a small to medium-sized business between 5% and 20% of its revenue. This isn't just a one-time thing. The table shows that it has high upfront costs, as well as monthly costs for cloud services, maintenance, and support. These costs can change a lot based on how many users you have, how complicated the integration is, and how much data you're processing. The total estimated yearly cost can be very high, even reaching tens of thousands of dollars. This is for a typical approach, which might not be the best fit for your business. But what is real? Let's take a step back and talk about the reality now that we've talked about the pitch and how much money it costs. The truth is that AI isn't a magic bullet. People talk a lot about AI hallucinations or rogue AI. These aren't just technical terms, they are real problems in the world. The idea of perfect smart agents is often just a dream. We need to be ready for this reality, not just the hype. Snake oil and AI debt. Snake oil is a word that means a fake cure-all, and some people in the tech industry are starting to use it to talk about how AI is being oversold. A recent virtual business experiment at Carnegie Mellon University is a great example of this. They set up a fake company called The Agent Co., with AI agents playing the roles of engineers, managers, and financial analysts. The results were very upsetting. The agent that did the best only finished 24% of its tasks, and the agent that did the second best only finished 11%. Why? Because AI doesn't have any common sense. It doesn't have any social or emotional intelligence. It doesn't get the subtleties of how people relate to each other or the rules of different cultures. It doesn't get how things work in a business. This is a very important point. AI can't take the place of people in your business, and thinking it can is a very costly error. Worse, many businesses adopting AI, especially autonomous AI agents, without proper implementation and hastily, are now incurring AI debt or AI technical debt. Hallucination, bias, and bad AI. There are also risks in the real world of AI. Garbage in, garbage out, as the saying goes. The success or failure of an AI model depends entirely on the data it is trained on and the biases of its creators. We've seen AI recruiting tools that were biased against women and AI therapy chatbots that gave bad and dangerous advice. AI hallucination, which means making up false information, is a real and ongoing problem. Lawyers have been punished for using AI that made up legal citations and chatbots that gave out personal information about users. Data poisoning can also corrupt AI, and hackers can use it for their own ends. A bad person can use natural language prompting to make an AI do bad things, like deleting data or adding bad code. These risks aren't just ideas, they're happening right now. The AI bubble. Do you recognize any of this? The current AI bubble is like the dot-com crash of 2000. Alan Greenspan, who used to be the head of the Federal Reserve, famously warned of irrational exuberance before the crash. After that, the market corrected itself in a big way, and many companies that had been overhyped went out of business. A lot of people are wondering if something like this is about to happen with AI. Companies are spending a lot of money, but we can already see that tech giants like Microsoft are laying off workers. This graph shows how the dot-com bubble and the current AI market are similar. People are worried that the AI bubble could be even bigger than the dot-com bubble, and the correction could be just as bad. Falling apart. The unraveling has already started. Builder.ai, a company that was once worth $1.5 billion, has gone bankrupt. It was a no-code AI platform that was worth a lot of money, but the promise didn't match the reality. It has now become the biggest AI company to go out of business since. Second, we see that even embodied AI, like the full self-driving features in some electric cars, are having big problems. These companies have been sued and given huge amounts of money because their AI systems were not working right. These aren't just small failures, they're big public examples of how AI isn't perfect and how dangerous it is to promise too much. Warnings about security. The risks are still there when it comes to security. Shadow AI is a big problem because it means that employees are using AI tools without the IT department's permission or knowledge. This can cause huge data leaks. The integration weaknesses in AI tools also create a new and huge area for attacks. Hackers can do model inversion attacks, which means they figure out what data a model was trained on by looking at it in reverse. For instance, a hacker could figure out if someone has a certain disease if an AI is trained on medical data. For example, Microsoft's recall feature, which took continuous screenshots of a user's computer, can be a huge privacy risk. Some browsers and companies are already blocking or limiting the use of these kinds of AI features. In the end, AI usually needs more resources and more supervision, not less. A better way? With all of these costs and risks, it's reasonable to ask if there is a better way. Yes, the answer is a clear yes. The answer is to use AI in a smarter, more focused way that doesn't cost too much or put you at risk. Now let's talk about RAG, which is the way to go. Chatbots for sales and service. Sales and service chatbots are a useful and very effective way to use AI. This is a very real, useful, and helpful example. You can use these chatbots as answer engines on your website to give customers quick answers to their questions. They can also suggest products, improve your human capital by answering simple questions, and give you useful information about what your customers like. You can get help from a chatbot any time of day or night, and it will get better as you add more information. We have a chatbot called Macy on our own website. This bot has been trained on our own content, which brings us to our next point, the power of RAG. RAG. We suggest using the RAG method, which stands for retrieval augmented generation. This is a big change in the way things are done. We don't use a big language model that has been trained on the whole public internet. Instead, we use a smaller, more focused model that uses your own private data. This method is more accurate, cuts down on hallucination by a huge amount, is tailored to you and your business, and is much cheaper. Your website, PDF files, Word files, and other sources can all send data. We see this working in two ways: an online RAG bot that lives on your website and RAG apps that people can use at work. Your website becomes your single source of truth. Instead of sending users to dark social media sites like WhatsApp, you keep them on your own site. A private, offline RAG app keeps data safe and private for internal users, like HR and finance. RAG versus just LLM. Here's a simple illustration on the difference between a traditional LLM and a RAG system. When you send a prompt to a traditional LLM, it uses its huge, often unverified knowledge base to answer. There is a lot of room for mistakes. The process is different with RAG. A user asks a question. The RAG system first gets useful information from your own trusted documents. Then it uses that information to make a prompt for a more focused LLM, which then makes a response. This two-step process makes sure that the answer is correct and based on your own data, which greatly lowers the chance of hallucination. RAG offline. Offline RAG is the second part of our RAG strategy. This is very important for dealing with private data that you don't want to be on the public internet. You can run offline RAG apps directly on your own computer, whether it's a Mac, PC, or Linux machine. For instance, MSTY is a private, one-click solution that uses AI models that are stored on your computer. There is no telemetry, so your data stays on your device. This is a huge step forward for keeping data private. It's a great answer for departments like HR, finance, or legal that deal with private data. You can use this for free, and it's a great way to get started with AI. Recommendations for entering data. So what kind of information should you give your RAG bot? Your bot will be smarter if you give it more content. We suggest using your website's static pages and blog posts that change, PDF and Word files such as white papers or product catalogs, knowledge bases like microsites, internal wikis or frequently asked questions, records of meetings or conference calls, written records of videos with voiceovers. The most important thing is to use all the content you already have and make it work for you. You build a strong knowledge base that your staff and customers can access right away by putting all of this information in one place. Wiki/microsite on site. If you have private or internal documents, we suggest setting up a headless server just for them. This is just a computer, like a Mac, PC, or Linux box that doesn't have a screen. A content management system, CMS, can be used as a server on your own computer. People can upload their documents to this server. The server then processes this information and makes it accessible to your internal RAG apps. This keeps your private data safe and secure inside your company, away from public clouds and possible security holes. Notebook LM. Notebook LM, a free experimental tool from Google Labs, is looking rather useful. This is a great example of a RAG app that you can use right away. You can use Notebook LM to turn your documents into audio podcasts, which are like radio shows. This is a great way to learn new things. A key feature is that it source grounds its answers, which makes hallucinations much less likely. You can also join the audio as a guest, which makes it a great tool for learning with others. The most important thing to remember is that you should only use this with public documents. It's a great way to try out RAG's power without spending any money up front. The RAGbot workflow. It is easy to create a RAGbot with this workflow. To figure out what information you want the bot to give you, you first do a needs analysis. Then, you put together all the information you already have from your website, documents, and transcripts. You can even make new documents by writing down what internal experts say in interviews. You put all of this information into your RAGbot once you have it. This isn't a one-time thing. It's something that happens all the time. You make the bot smarter over time by giving it new content or updating old documents. Suggested AI spending for Bootstrap. Let's go back to the price now. Do you remember what we talked about when we talked about typical AI spending? We recommend going Bootstrap. Instead of paying a typical upfront cost of $15,000 and an annual total of $45,000, our suggested Bootstrap approach is far more cost-effective. The costs upfront are very low, and the monthly costs are even lower. The point is to bring all of your AI work together into one RAG bot. You send all of your visitors to this bot. The only new content you might need is from writing down what was said in your internal meetings or conference calls, which isn't too expensive. This method lets you get a lot of AI benefits without the huge costs and risks that come with them. Owning your data. It's important to have your own RAGbot, but that's not the only thing you need to think about. Big tech is moving to answer engines, which are AI-powered search results that give a direct answer and summarize information, usually without the user having to click on a link. This changes everything. If you don't optimize for these answer engines, you could become invisible. You need to take care of both answer engine optimization and traditional search engine optimization. Your website is your platform and you need to own it. And you need to make content that is useful and of high quality that AI can easily crawl and use. This includes all of your multimedia, like your blog posts and static web pages, an answer engine optimization test. We did an experiment to see if answer engine optimization worked. We typed, "Tell me about McGallen and Bolden," into all the major AI-enabled search engines. The results were very interesting. We tried out Brave, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, and a few others. The point was to find out how each AI would summarize our business and what sources they would use. We found that most of the answer engines gave long answers that included links back to our website. This is exactly what you need. It means that the AI is using your content as a source of truth and sending people to you. Google's AI summary was simpler, and DeepSeek only gave us answers when we turned on web searches. This shows that things are still changing, but it's clear that having a strong, content-rich website is the best way to get noticed in this new world. How to stay alive in Web 4.0. So, let's put it all together. How do you make it in Web 4.0? First, you own your RAG. This means that you are the only person who knows everything about your business, and you are in charge of all of your customer interactions. You also optimize your website for answer engine optimization, which is the second step. This keeps you in the public eye as AI becomes the main way people get information. RAG and answer engine optimization together are what will help you stay alive and do well, going back to being real. Lastly, I want to give you something to think about. The web is changing. We need to be ready for the changes, but we also need to keep in mind that people are involved. Big tech has made a world of avatars and content that is very polished, but more and more people, especially younger people, want to go back to what is real. They want things to be real, and they are drawn to content and platforms that feel more human. The success of sites like BeReal, the rise of anti-aesthetic content, and the return to smaller, more personal communities like Substack and Discord are all signs of this change. As AI-generated content takes over the internet, being real becomes valuable. We need to stay real and have real interactions with people, but we also need to use AI to help our brands grow. AI shouldn't take the place of people. It should make things better. Keep it simple. Let's have a quick review of the main ideas we've talked about. A stands for AI Bootstrap. Get started with something easy. Don't spend tens of thousands of dollars on a system that is too complicated. To build an AI system that is cost-effective and long-lasting, start with RAG and use your own documents. B stands for bootstrap your AI and converge your content. Centralize all of your data from your website to your papers. Your own site should be the only place you get information. C stands for converge to your own site. RAG can help keep customers and employees on your website. Take care of both answer engine optimization and search engine optimization. Thrun's thoughts. I'll share a quote from Dr. Sebastian Thrun, who is a computer scientist and roboticist. He said, "No one puts it this way, but I think AI is almost a humanities field. It's really an effort to figure out how people think and how they learn." This is what I want you to remember. AI isn't just about technology, it's also about knowing who we are, your reliable co-pilot. We at McGallen and Bolden want to be your trusted co-pilot on this journey. We're here to help you figure out how to deal with the difficulties of AI, public relations, and marketing in this new age.